Welcome to the 2011 Bloomington State of the City Address, featuring Mayor Gene Winstead and City Manager Mark Bernhardson, here at Bloomington Civic Plaza this year. Today's luncheon is co-sponsored by the Bloomington Chamber of Commerce and the Bloomington Noon Rotary Club. My name is Luann Paulette, and I am the president of Bloomington Rotary. Before we begin, let's give a round of applause to Trio Brava, the horn trio that provided the music you heard, and the Bloomington Symphony Orchestra for our beautiful music today. Now I ask that you please rise for the presentation of colors by the Bloomington Police Honor Guard. Please remain standing as Bloomington Chamber Board member and Bloomington Police Chief Jeff Potts leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to Police Chief Potts and the Bloomington Police Honor Guard. The theme of today's State of the City presentation is Bloomington Connected. As president of the Bloomington Noon Rotary, I can tell you that the club has many connections throughout the community. Founded in September 1961, Bloomington Rotary is celebrating our 50th anniversary of service to the community this year. Worldwide, Rotary is made up of 1.2 million members in more than 200 countries. Most Rotarians will tell you they are members because they want to serve their communities. In fact, our motto is service above self. We carry that through our local service projects, such as mentoring high school students at Kennedy High School, delivering Meals on Wheels, and painting houses for low-income residents. And we're connected worldwide as well, with projects such as digging clean water wells in Haiti, educating students in Africa, and delivering health care to the poor in India. Can you picture yourself as a Rotarian? Talk to me or any one of the many Rotarians here today, and we'd love to tell you more. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Executive Director for the Bloomington Chamber of Commerce, Maureen Scallon-Failer. I should also note that Maureen is a Bloomington Rotarian as well. Maureen?
Thank you, Luann, and we are pleased to co-sponsor this event with the Bloomington Rotary Clubs. Good afternoon, everyone. We are pleased you could join us today to hear about the State of the City by Mayor Gene Winstead and City Manager Mark Bernhardson. We are pleased that the connections that the City of Bloomington and the Bloomington Chamber are making through the business community. I would first like to welcome all of our elected officials who are here today. Thank you very much for attending. On behalf of the Bloomington Chamber of Commerce, I would like to extend and congratulate Steve Elkins on his recent appointment on the Metropolitan Council representing District 5, which represents Bloomington, Richfield, and Edina. We share a very common interest with Steve on transportation and transit issues. Steve has also served on the Bloomington Board of Directors, and on behalf of the board, Steve, we thank you for your service. The Bloomington Chamber is committed to addressing the needs and the concerns of the businesses in Bloomington. In conjunction with the Minneapolis Regional Chamber of Commerce, the Bloomington Chamber continues to build relationships with community leaders in and around Bloomington, enabling the Chamber to serve as a connector between local business associations and decision makers on substantive issues that impact the broader business community. The Bloomington Chamber is honored to have the city as a vital partner. We are working with the city on development, public works, and public safety issues that are extremely important to our members and the welfare of the Chamber. Our Economic Development and Public Policy Committee work in conjunction with the City Community Development and Public Works Departments to keep informed as to what projects, ordinances, and development projects are being discussed and worked on. This allows the Chamber to provide feedback to the city on various issues that could impact our member businesses. Over this last year, we have partnered with the Bloomington Police Department and have developed a new program called Business Matters, Safety Matters. This is a valuable program that provides excellent information and resources for the businesses to provide a safe work environment for its employees and customers. I would like to thank Chief Potts and Officer Heidi Miller for this leadership on this program. As we hear shortly from the mayor and the city manager on the status of our city, the Chamber and its members have been working extremely hard during these challenging economic times. We have seen our membership increase and a renewed interest in our activities from the city to the regional level. We have also seen a cautious optimism by the business community relating to workforce development. We need to continue to work closely with the city to allow for new development projects which will further enhance and make our community a better place to live, work, and play. And now, I would like to call to the podium the City of Bloomington's Director of Community Development, Larry Lee, Rotarian and member of the Chamber's Economic Development and Public Policy Committee, to introduce our speakers today. Larry.
It is truly a pleasure to see so many friends of Bloomington here in the audience today. And it is my pleasure to introduce your State of the City speakers, Mayor Gene Winstead and City Manager Mark Bernhardson. Do you have an investment advisor? If you do, you expect them to do two things: to protect your capital and to improve your financial position. You hope your investment advisor will be able to do this even when the underlying markets are in turmoil. Everybody here today has a significant investment in the city of Bloomington. It may be your home, it may be the location of your business, or it may be both. You know that you're better off when the city is in sound financial condition. The city council, the mayor, the city manager are the stewards of your financial interest in the city of Bloomington. In effect, they are your financial advisors, and they also have a power of attorney to make decisions on your behalf with regard to this investment. Mark Bernhardson has looked after your Bloomington investment for 20 years now as Bloomington City Manager. Gene Winstead has maintained your Bloomington investment for 16 years, 12 years as mayor of the city of Bloomington, and an additional 4 years on the Bloomington City Council. Year in and year out, they've reported excellent returns on your city investment. During the last 20 years, the underlying economy has gone through both significant downturns and minor ones. Bloomington's position has remained stable during the downturns and improved during the better times. Your advisors, Winstead and Bernhardson, have reported positive results every year in this State of the City event. You might think others would want to listen to advisors with this kind of track record. Well, other people do want to listen to them. Mark has served on committees and boards for a variety of organizations, metropolitan cities, the League of Minnesota Cities. He was the first board chair of the Hennepin County Healthcare, Hennepin County Medical Center spinoff from the county, and he is currently chair of the Gustavus Adolphus College Board of Trustees. Mayor Winstead is on the boards of the Bloomington Port Authority, the Bloomington Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Red Cross Blood Services Division, and the Airport Foundation. Mayor Winstead is a founding member of the Regional Council of Mayors, an organization that one publication described as a remarkable monthly gathering of about 40 mayors from around the metro region, a laboratory of pragmatism for working together on sticky issues. So, how did your Bloomington investment perform in 2010? Mayor Gene Winstead will conduct the first part of your portfolio review today.
Well, thank you, Larry, and Winstead Bernhardson LLC. It sounds like there's some sort of an organization that's forming here. I very much want to welcome you here today, and joining us today, too, are many of our city's dignitaries and elected officials from there, and I'm going to try and identify them as they're here today. We're joined by City Council members Amy Grady, Tom Hulting, and Vern Wilcox are here today. Amy, Vern, Tom. And it was mentioned, Metropolitan Council member Steve Elkins is here also, and former City Council member. I think we must acknowledge that. We've got members of our school board with us today. Chairman Chuck Walter is here, Arlene Bush, Tim Culver, and Melissa Halverson Wickland is here, all with us today. And Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Les Fujitaki, has joined us. Normandale Community College President Joe Opatz. And District 5 representative from the Three Rivers Park Districts, John Gibbs, is here. Where's John? I saw John. And also Todd Klingel from the Minneapolis Regional Chamber of Commerce, the executive director, is with us. So, well, and I do want to welcome you to Bloomington Civic Plaza. I think this is a great venue for this event, and we're happy that it's here this year and happy to take that forward. And I would like to say a thank you to Trio Brava and Becky Jerkus for the entertainment they did provide coming in. It's just kind of a demonstration of the generous contributions of time and things that they're putting forth into our community really to enrich all of our lives. Our State of the City is going to incorporate many things. Some of it will be where we have come from, where we are today, and where we think we're headed. People naturally always wanted to be connected. People came to Bloomington to take advantage of opportunities to accomplish collectively what could not be done by individuals. And then in the 1840s, notable Dakota warrior Cloudman relocated his village from Lake Calhoun to Bloomington, and it grew to about 500 people, and it was the largest one of its type in the area at that time. You may have noticed a different kind of cloud on display overhead during your lunch. It's formed with words that describe our connections with the community. The image is a tag cloud, typically used to describe the content of a website. Over the years, people formed communities to interface with each other and take advantage of opportunities for employment, cultural and social interactions, and education that didn't exist on the farms and in the rural areas. Now, people are able to connect with friends and family and businesses in new ways, and most of the time it's using technology that is changing ever so fast. There are opportunities created by sites like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And today, we will present to you these and other technological advances that allow us to provide enhanced services to make an even better connection with the community. In the 1950s, our community experienced significant growth. In terms of modern times, we communicated differently. We had face-to-face conversations before we had Facebook. We talked across the fence or on the porch with our neighbors instead of tweeting our thoughts to a greater audience. Long before we had the information highway, we constructed roads to allow a growing community to connect with each other and their destinations. But technology improvements have allowed us to be more sustainable because we have new ways to connect. Instead of having to utilize transportation to get to what you need, in some situations you can access city services and information online anytime, anywhere, or from the comfort of your home or business. Your city can interface with you in a much better and more thorough way. Online program registrations are available. E-subscribe and email updates are also available. Interactive maps on the city's website. The Ask the City online request system is available. And through webcasts of meetings on the website, and then there's videos on YouTube. And now there are two-way interactions on Facebook and Twitter. Not long ago, these types of services would have to involve a trip to City Hall or at least a phone call, and you were restricted to the business hours of the City Hall and Monday through Friday. As we roll out these new technologies, Bloomington's vision of success is centered on its people, its neighborhoods, its businesses, and its government. In an effort to support that vision, this year's city's State of the City theme, Bloomington Connected, describes how we build community and create bonds that tie us together. It defines our renewal of the community by providing a connection through development, including physical links through transportation. Bloomington Connected illustrates how we are taking advantage of new technology that allows for improved communications and enhanced services that create more efficient ways to connect with residents and businesses. Our community vision with the unifying theme of sustainability is the inspiration that keeps us connected. Our vision, to build and renew the community by providing services, promoting renewal, and guiding growth in an even more sustainable, fiscally sound manner. This vision defines our strategy to continue to keep this community thriving for the long term. As a city council, we look to renew our community by building on its competitive advantages. Bloomington has a strategic direction that provides a guide as we move forward. We have great location, not only in the metropolitan region but in the state, and also the location of our residential neighborhoods and businesses within our community is an advantage. Availability of qualified workforce is another advantage Bloomington possesses. The clustering of economic generators that contribute to growing the tax base and stabilizing the costs of those services. Transportation and ways to make improvements for the future. And the services provided by the city and the competitive costs of those services are also one of our advantages. As Bloomington matures and ages, renewal of the community is imperative, whether it's through redevelopment of our commercial areas or renewal of our residential neighborhoods. It's also imperative that Bloomington continually renew our vital transportation nodes, including everything from sidewalks and walkways to bike paths and other forms of alternative transportation. It really means we need to maintain and repair all of our residential streets and all the streets all the way up to major highways. Our neighborhood intersections, as well as our interstate highway interchanges, need to constantly be renewed and upgraded. And we need to make improvements to those roadways for the single-family occupancy vehicle, but we also need to manage and provide mass transit in all forms. Bloomington has always been a community connected by the best way possible at the time. Bloomington has had a sense of place from the Native Americans that called this area home to the productive farming communities that flourished here in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Like this farm operated by the descendants of Joseph Harrison, who was born in Ireland and established a permanent home in Bloomington in 1874. During Bloomington's population explosion, thousands of people bought homes here beginning in the 50s, like this one on Penn Avenue in Bloomington. And here is what this home looks like today. And note the mature trees. It sure makes a difference as far as the neighborhood. Our urban forest is something to be proud of. And this growth began the process that would make Bloomington the thriving city that it is today. Here are some of the efforts of renewal that have taken place in the year 2010. The CVS Pharmacy at Lyndale Avenue and 90th Street is under design and underway. They've started some of the demolition work, and they're going to get going with construction. The RBCU, the beautiful new building built on 9550 Lyndale Avenue South. RBCU, still getting used to that. Richfield Bloomington Credit Union, it's there. One of our great corporate citizens in the community is now centered here in Bloomington. Cowboy Jack's Restaurant, the old Steak and Ale on Southtown Drive, has just opened, a renewal of an older site. And then the COP Center at Normandale Community College is something that's underway and under construction right now and looking for opening and occupancy soon in the future. Senior residential facilities within the community, too, are under development. We have Welshire of Bloomington on 106th and Lyndale, as well as the Founders Ridge and the Bethany Fellowship campus on Auto Club Road. The Welshire is under construction, and Founders Ridge should get going yet this year. You are aware of this map and probably have seen it before. This map indicates the major districts in Bloomington. They are Normandale Lake District, the Penn American District, and the South Loop District. And it shows the percentage of the growth potential within the city of Bloomington. Because we are a maturing city, this demonstrates that 85% of the renewal in the city will be very concentrated and in these three districts. This year, some major district improvements, including development and transportation, will move forward. Transportation arteries are the key to connecting our community. And okay, for the last 5 years at least, I've stood up here and talked about 494 and the 169 interchange. Well, the reconfiguration of this interchange is taking place now. The remaining stoplights along 169, a major source of the congestion, will be removed. The interchange will be rebuilt with 6 freeway-to-freeway ramps. 6 roundabouts will be spaced evenly around the highway to further reduce traffic congestion caused by the 4-way stops. MnDOT, the cities of Bloomington, Edina, and Eden Prairie, and the Federal Highway Administration collaborated to cut the cost of this project by $30 million. Currently, the utilities are over there being relocated. That's the construction you'll see at this time. And the major construction will commence this spring. And the bulk of the construction will be completed within 18 months for the interchange to be fully functional and open by November 2012. It's happening. In the Normandale Lake District, moving from west to east, this area we've got going the Luxembourg project, and it's a 3-story, 282-unit upper-end residential apartment building, including a parking ramp there. The construction will begin this late spring or in early summer. Moving a little farther east, the Penn American District, which is located at Penn Avenue and American Boulevard. The development here includes a mix of retail, office, and residential spaces, and tree-shaded streets, which would be attractive to outdoor dining and strolling. The first phase will include 3 residential buildings with a mix of townhomes, apartments, and retail at the street level. United Properties and Stewart Development Corporation are working with the Bloomington HRA to finalize the plans, and construction is scheduled to begin this summer. Also in the Penn American District, the plan calls for and includes rebuilding of the 494 and 35W interchange. It also involves creating a bus rapid transit station on 35W, similar to the one in the picture that's on 46 and 35W in Minneapolis. And this is being installed to really increase transit options and draw people to this new neighborhood hub. MnDOT may be constructing a turbine interchange at 35W and 494. The large advantage for the design of this interchange is that it has the ability to be constructed in phases. The first phase could be the northbound 35W to the westbound 494 phase, and it would be a ramp that goes around and under, and you can see it on the drawing. But it's also the largest movement at this intersection, and it's one of the greatest creators of congestion. This will also include a park and ride facility, since the existing park and ride facility just south of the Best Buy headquarters would be impacted by the interchange ramp design. Moving to the east a little farther and looking at the South Loop District, which has the greatest amount of renewal potential in our city. South Loop has many competitive advantages that other cities would love to boast of. It has LRT and bus transit. It's one of the best served locations in the metropolitan area. The Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport is right there, and it's essential to this business model. If it weren't for the proximity to the airport, this would be just another industrial park. Excellent regional highway access is also right there in the area. You have 494, which can take you to the east and west. You have Trunk Highway 77, which will take you north and south. And you have Highway 5 that'll take you right into St. Paul, all adjacent to this area. Also, it's adjacent to the National Wildlife Refuge, and it's only one of 3 located in metropolitan areas anywhere in the country. And also the Mall of America and Bloomington Central Station, both of which are significant developments of their own, but when incorporated in this district, they only enhance it greatly. And the sites that are here are ready for development and ready to go. So as things change, it's going to start happening quickly. It'll be over many decades for it to develop out, but we're ready to go. This year, the City Council expects to adopt the South Loop District Plan. Some of the plan features include Mall of America, Phase 2, Bloomington Central Station, as well as the Lindau Lane extension. And this enhances and really kind of ties together much of it with a corridor that will link both of these major entities. And street grid and streetscape will help make the district walkable, increase the potential for higher densities. And then Cypress Semiconductor and PolarFab Semiconductor are microchip manufacturing facilities located in the district already. And these are highly prized businesses that are creating many new manufacturing jobs, and I'm going to speak more about that in a little while. The new residential in the district will represent 3,000 dwelling units, and about 4,500 residents will live in these units. And there'll be enhanced access to the wildlife refuge because it's such an amenity to the area. And then you have the 34th Avenue interchange upgrade, which will be going on moving forward. Some current projects in the South Loop District are the Radisson Blue Hotel. This is a $137 million upper-scale hotel connected to the Mall of America. There are 2 Fortune 500 companies, Mortenson Construction and Carlson Companies, involved in the development of this project. It's a 501-room, 13-story hotel, and it will be located on the mall's south side between Macy's and Bloomingdale's. It is estimated that the construction will create 250 full-time jobs and 240 permanent hotel jobs when the hotel opens in 2012. This project is being funded by $40 million in Bloomington Port Authority issued Recovery Zone facility bonds, part of the federal economic stimulus package, $40 million in private taxable bonds, and $42 million in private equity from Carlson and Mortenson. Revenue from the hotel will be used to repay the bonds. The city, the Port Authority, and the taxpayers are not liable for these bonds. A 3-level parking garage under the hotel will be built with $16 million in tax increment bonds to be repaid by the hotel's property taxes. The parking structure will be an extension of the existing parking on the Mall of America site. Construction of the hotel will begin next month, and the hotel is scheduled to open in the 4th quarter of 2012, and that's just 18 months from now. The Lindau Lane extension. Here again, the city has purchased property from the Duke developments that were over there. The street design and building demolition is going on right now in 2011 and will continue into 2012. And the street construction should begin in 2013. The city plans to sell the remainder of what we don't use for the street on both sides while the streets are under construction, and these will be great sites for development. The intent is to create a development spine by linking the district's 2 signature developments, and the Lindau Lane extension is anchored by the Mall of America and Bloomington Central Station. The city has applied for $15 million in state bonding money to assist with the larger set of the Lindau corridor projects and to improve Lindau from Trunk Highway 77 to the Bloomington Central Station Park. This development on Lindau Lane will be instrumental in creating a core that establishes the standard for future development, transitioning from suburban densities to urban walkable developments. And this construction, if that bonding comes through, could even start yet this fall. One of the key interchanges to be accepted in this area needs to be done on 34th Avenue and 494. And really, with the expansion that MAC has planned for this area, as well as the South Loop future development, this is going to be a key interchange. MAC and the city were one of the successful co-applicants for a Transportation Economic Development Grant. The Diverging Diamond Interchange that you see here is one of a very few in the metro area, and particularly it has trains flowing through this interchange. This could be under construction as early as 2014. The Phase 1, at a cost of $6 million, eliminates crossing traffic to access 494, minimizing left turn signal phasing. And this design and construction can accommodate traffic for decades to come. The Phase 2, which is an additional $24 million worth of design, and it consists of a flyover ramp that is to accommodate the southbound traffic from 34th Avenue to the east, and then it would merge with eastbound 494. And then the Phase 3 of this is an additional $21 million worth of design and construction, and it needs to access 34th Avenue by constructing a flyover ramp from 34th Avenue to access 24th Avenue. And the phasing is necessary to get these projects done. And construction and timing of the second and third phases will be driven by traffic demands and the funding availability. There is more renewal in our community, too, outside of the districts that I've discussed. Outside of the main districts, we also have renewal out at the Pulte Homes development, and they're planning a 40-unit single-family residential development located on the northernmost part of the Bethany Fellowship property on Auto Club Road. The anticipated market price is in the $300,000, in the high $300,000 to the low $400,000 range for these homes, and construction is anticipated in May of this year to get going. The retention of jobs and the creation of new jobs is just so important for all cities. Bloomington has approximately 7,000 manufacturing jobs today, and that's down from about 10,000 manufacturing jobs 10 years ago. Today, manufacturing jobs are 8% of Bloomington's total jobs. If I could replace 500 to 800 of these lost jobs with new manufacturing and engineering jobs, it would be a great day, and I think we'd all be celebrating. In November, with others, I visited Austin, Texas, and we talked with their Chamber of Commerce and their mayor, and they were celebrating their good fortune at attracting a 500-job expansion at their Samsung microchip facility. In the last few weeks, I have learned that Polar Semiconductor and Cypress Semiconductor, the two microchip manufacturing facilities in the South Loop District, are planning expansions that will total 500 to 800 new high-quality microchip manufacturing jobs and engineering jobs. These are jobs that have an annual wage of $65,000 or greater, and they're coming to our city. And I have to tell you a little bit of a story on the Cypress Semiconductor. I was at one of their company events not too long ago, and their vice president of operations, a gentleman named Minh Pham, a Vietnamese refugee who came here, has taken this plant over 3 years ago. And one of the reasons for their need for expansion and their success is that they have now got their procedures and their microchip manufacturing facility running at such a level now that they're competing with all of the offshore microchip manufacturers, and they are currently beating the Chinese in the cost as well as the quality of microchips they're producing. So it's good things happening, and it represents great new jobs coming to our community. So I want to celebrate with all of you Bloomington's good fortune and the good planning to land these prizes going forward. There are currently close to 47,500 Bloomington residents in the workforce today, and currently 87,500 jobs in Bloomington. 1 in 4 Bloomington residents who are employed work in the city of Bloomington, and that means about 75,000 people come to Bloomington to work on a regular basis. Clearly, these have been difficult times for many in our community with the loss of jobs, foreclosures, and really the struggling economy. The unemployment comparisons that are here are from January of 2011, so they're very current. The United States posts a 9.8% unemployment rate. Minnesota fares better at 7.5%. Our metro area is faring better than that at 7.0%, and Bloomington comes in at 6.4%. Although still high at 6.4%, Bloomington's unemployment rate is lower than the nation state in the metro area, and Bloomington's unemployment rate hit a recent peak at 8.6% in June of 2009, and I'm happy to say it has been falling since. Bloomington is a community that people seek out to live, conduct business, and recreate. This is the result of creating a vibrant, safe, welcoming neighborhoods, and by working together with our neighbors and our business partners to promote the fun and vitality of community life. Last week, the Census Bureau released limited city-level data from the 2010 census. The census found that Bloomington added 537 housing units over the last decade. Although the city added housing units, we lost population. There are two reasons for this. First, the housing vacancy rate went up from 1.9% in the year 2000 to 4.6% in 2010. So Bloomington had more housing units overall, but fewer occupied housing units than we had in 2000. We had 495 fewer housing units occupied. Second, national trends of living longer, getting married later, and having fewer children are causing the size of the existing households to shrink over time. This population number, it makes us fifth in the size of cities in the state of Minnesota. We fall behind Minneapolis, St. Paul, Rochester, and Duluth. Events, programs, organizations are the types of things that build our community. Examples of this are things like our National Night Out. We see record attendance each year at this event, and it's an important community building event because it reinforces neighbors helping neighbors. We've got community gardens. They're springing up all over the community. I don't think on a day like today, but they're happening all throughout our community. And we're finding ways to help and implement these things going forward. We have our farmers market, which will be here again this season. And the market has 21 market days, and it's averaging about 2,000 people for each week attends that market. So more than 40,000 people attend our farmers market regularly. Over community events, other community events and programs and organizations are things like Summerfest, Winterfest, our River Rendezvous, Heritage Days, Arts in the Parks, activities and concerts that are going on, and our Center for the Arts and the cultural programs, bringing quality to our lives and allowing us to enjoy all of our amenities together. Working together through collaborations help us achieve and make us all stronger. Some examples include healthy living, recreation, and education. In the healthy living category, the statewide Health Improvement Program, or SHIP, is led by Bloomington Public Health with leaders from Bloomington, Edina, and Richfield, and we're working on initiatives to make healthy living easier. The three cities are working with communities, schools, work sites, and healthcare to reduce the risk of chronic disease such as diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and cancer. On the recreation side of things, there's thousands of city residents and children participate in Bloomington Athletic Association sports. And also, you can take a look at the Red Haddocks grandstand, the Toro grandstand at the Red Haddocks field, which opened this last spring. It's a beautiful facility, and it was a collaborative effort with the Bloomington Legion Baseball concessions, as well as Toro, who contributed $100,000 to this project. And the city also secured a Hennepin County Youth Sports Program grant for $235,000. So we collaborated together to make that project happen. On the education side of things, Bloomington's long-standing partnership with Bloomington Public Schools and our higher educational institutions are just one of the many ways we can achieve our future vision. We also have our sister city organization with Azumi City, Japan, and I think I need to comment on this. We've had recent correspondence with Azumi City. Now, Azumi City is west of Tokyo, and it's fairly far west of Tokyo, with most of the devastating earthquake and tsunami hitting to the northern area of the country. The correspondence that we've had with Azumi says that all is fine and well there, but I think we can all understand that that country is really back on its heels and needs quite a bit of help to recover from these natural disasters and then the subsequent circumstances that have been unfolding since those disasters. But I think we all need to reflect a little bit on what can happen, even in a highly civilized, industrialized country, financially stable with good governance like Japan, and what they've seen and what devastation can take place. Our city's engineering and parks and recreation divisions continue to implement segments of the alternative transportation plan to promote multimodal transportation opportunities and healthy living. This is implemented in part of our ongoing pavement management program and traffic program, which we are doing ongoing construction all throughout the city. The city developed a master fiber optics plan to identify strategic links that bolster the city's existing network and it connects key facilities. The plan will be built out in phases over the course of 5 to 10 years and is currently approximately 25% built out. A key link is planned for construction in 2011 that will connect the city offices to the Mall of America. And through the use of technology, 40 to 50 traffic signals are being coordinated along significant travel corridors throughout Bloomington to reduce delay and reduce congestion. And these are examples of renewal using technology. Now, we've had many changes in the way we communicate over the years. Okay. The telephone was the primary way for two-way communications, and although it's still needed, technology has brought us new ways to interact with each other. This is my 1-year-old grandson, Sam, already figuring out the iPad. How will he be communicating as he grows up? What kind of community will he live in? We need to continually plan for the future, keep pace with the changing technologies and the way people want to connect. We need to look for ways that sustain this community for the long term in order to meet the needs of the community today as well as for future generations. And at this time, I would like to introduce Mark Bernhardson, our city manager, and he will speak to our services, new technologies, and how our current financial state enables the city to meet our vision. Thank you.
Mayor Winstead, thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here. As the mayor pointed out, technological advances have led our human quest for connections in new directions. New technologies allow us to provide enhanced services and create more efficient ways to connect with residents and businesses and look at more service and better service delivery 24/7, 365 as we continue to explore the many ways people want to communicate with us. But communication is only one of the many ways we connect to build community. The city's organization's major connections with people are really through the services we provide, both essential and quality of life services. The following video helps illustrate this point and shows how we continuously look for more ways to be transparent, strengthen our connections, and improve our communications in order to become an even more sustainable community.
My name is Charles Wild, and I'm a Public Works computer analyst. We work every day to use technology to better serve you.
If you ask most Minnesotans, winter is the longest season by far. City of Bloomington's street maintenance teams are choosing to embrace the long season by researching and formulating new and improved ways to manage snow cleanup. The year 2010 marked a milestone for Public Works crews as they took the first step to making a sought-after dream a reality.
We are adding, it's called GPS AVL, to our street plows and our sidewalk plows. What it's designed to do is track our snow plows and our sidewalk plows as they do snow clearing and snow removal throughout the city.
This piece of technology will allow the city to monitor where its plows have been and where they're headed, anytime throughout the course of their routes.
We're hoping to use that information to analyze the different plow routes. Are we being as efficient as we can be? We can pull the data from the vehicles to see how much salt we use in the different watershed districts and the different plow areas, and even how much a particular driver has used throughout the city during his route.
Each plow equipped with the GPS AVL unit has an antenna on board. This allows the data collected to be transmitted to a server using a cellular network.
And then we access that information via the internet. We can pull up a map and it shows basically in real time where our vehicles are and where they've been.
Material monitoring and maximizing plow time versus travel time are just a few of the efficiency goals Public Works hopes to meet. But the eventual goal will allow residents direct access to this GPS data collected.
Ultimately, we hope to be able to post this on the internet in a near real-time situation so residents can check out the map and find out where the drivers have been, how soon they might get to their home. Helps us to make sure we don't miss any streets or cul-de-sacs as well once we're fully outfitted.
So far, 20 GPS AVL units have been put in various street and sidewalk plows. Outfitting the rest of the fleet will come with time.
The addition of the GPS to our plow fleet will help us to be more efficient in our routing of vehicles. It'll help us be more efficient in our use of materials, and ultimately it'll help us connect with the residents of Bloomington by allowing them to see where the plows have been and when they might get to their street down the road.
I'm Police Commander Kevin Herman, and it's my job to keep the Bloomington Police Department connected to you.
The men and women, sworn and civilian alike, of the Bloomington Police Department are dedicated, professional, and caring individuals. Protecting the city is all in a day's work, and finding new and improved advancements in technology to assist in that is essential to providing service to the community. One way to provide this service is through video surveillance mounted in every squad car, used to record offenses that can cause serious harm to the driving public. A 2010 decision by the State Office of Traffic Safety to fund hundreds of squad cameras throughout the state caught the Bloomington Police Department's attention almost immediately.
We saw this as a great opportunity to get in on that state grant money and try to outfit our entire patrol fleet with in-squad cameras. We made a bid to outfit the entire fleet. We ended up getting 17 cameras paid for by the state at a price of almost $5,000 a piece, so it was a very sizable grant.
The new state-of-the-art camera system allows evidence gathering and storing to be clean, quick, and concise. It also helps officers go back and look at events that often unfold quickly to see where they can make improvements to their own techniques.
This is the camera system right here. It's got some controls on it here, and then everything is also controlled on the MDC itself on the touchscreen. The camera, I said, is running all the time so that when I actually activate my lights or I hit the record button, it backs up the record 30 seconds. So if I see a violator run the red light in front of me and I hit the record button, I've already recorded 30 seconds before that, and so I see the actual violation.
Arbitrator 360 cameras are now inside every black and white squad, along with every street sergeant's vehicles. And instead of logging and storing endless VHS tapes, technology has allowed for squads to simply do this.
Anytime they come by the police department, there's 2 Wi-Fi spots that the cameras hit. One on the back curb where we do roll call, and then one downstairs where the cars are stored overnight. When they hit those Wi-Fi spots, it automatically downloads and goes to a server over in IS.
This quick logging allows officers to write reports in a timely manner and ultimately will keep many cases out of court. Because, as Commander Herman put it, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, imagine what a moving picture is worth. Officers can spend time on the streets where they can be most productive, serving the residents of Bloomington.
Where do I communicate?
I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where you can reach me.
city information delivered to you.
I like the idea of important city news and events coming straight to me, wherever I am.
Many think of us as a conglomeration of rather disparate services here at the city. They're not best supported in the private market. Cloud-like, though many of our services may appear to be, we are a very integrated organization, most notably in the recent emergencies, such as the 11-unit apartment fire that was over on Nicollet Avenue in February, or the couple of 19-inch snowfalls that we had this winter, when various departments come together to work essentially to serve you in a seamless manner. The taxes you pay are connected to the services you receive, and the services you receive are connected to the people who serve you. Investments we make today relate to our future success, and the key to our long-term success is our financial strength, the quality and affordability of the services we provide, and the productivity of our operations. Today I'm going to talk to you about some of these successes and show you how Bloomington compares in terms of service costs with our municipal counterparts. In our efforts to make our somewhat complex organization and its financial basis more transparent, we use a variety of ways to communicate important budget information and do so in a manner that receives accolades from the Government Finance Officers Association for Financial Reporting. The Bloomington Comprehensive Annual Financial Report receives a Certificate of Achievement in Excellence in Financial Reporting and has done so for the last 39 years. This is the longest of any community in the state of Minnesota, and we are only one of three jurisdictions nationwide that has received that honor for this entire length of time. The city has also received the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for the last 14 years. This award is the highest form of recognition in governmental budgeting and represents a very significant achievement. Bloomington has also received the popular annual financial report for 10 out of the last 11 years and is only one of 3 cities in Minnesota to receive this award. And while this makes CPAs' hearts just glow when they can put out these kind of awards and read the information in this manner, our corporate report, the popular report that's annually put out in the June briefing, of which you have a copy with you at your table today, receives numerous awards from regional and national communications groups, including Best of Show awards for the last 2 years from the Minnesota Government Communicators Association. Additionally, our numerous other communications have received both statewide and national recognition over the past 13 years for top quality productions. We continue to reach out to residents through the city's newsletter, website, and cable TV programs, communicating in the many ways for those we serve who desire, how they desire to be informed. Bloomington has grown a very strong financial base. In the 90s, we recognized there were economic cycles, and as a result developed strategies to deal with these downturns. These included multi-year modeling of our funds, staffing only to the levels that we could carry through a normal downturn, proactively rather than just historically track the real estate market that limits appeals and rebates, and began using our strategies early on in a downturn. Coupling the strong financial base and these downturn strategies resulted in our first AAA from Moody's in 1998. Subsequently, we received AAAs from Standard & Poor's and Fitch. When it first achieved in 2004, we were only one of 24 cities out of 19,000 nationwide to have garnered the triple AAA. The rating agencies tell us these bond ratings reflect the sound money management practices and policies of the City of Bloomington. These were again reaffirmed in 2010, and that is somewhat notable given that rating agencies are looking to downgrade municipalities and counties nationwide. It's a sustainable practice to make this community viable for the long term, not just in terms of lower rates to borrow, but really attests to the financial strength to take advantage of lower construction and infrastructure costs often found during the economic downturns. Again, when we commenced utilization of these downturn strategies in the second half of 2008, it was with an eye to do better during the downturn, and that has led to positive results in 2008, 9, and 10. This is despite the fact that we have received no local government aid from the state since 2003, and while the state has claimed credit on your tax bills for paying you a homestead credit, they have failed to turn around and pay us. And since 2003, that has amounted to just shy of $10 million. While this, at first blush, would appear to be a significant challenge, it attests to Bloomington's organizational strength. And given that the state is now looking at drastic reductions in LGA and market value credit, especially in the market area, it really is something that, since we are already able to do it, will be clearly a competitive advantage to Bloomington and the metro area in the years to come. You've seen this dollar bill before, and as you recall, for every dollar you pay of your single-family home taxes, Hennepin County for 2011 will get 33 cents. Bloomington, 29 cents, the school district, 29 cents, and all other property taxing jurisdiction, the balance of the 9 cents. But commercial industrial property tax dollar is split differently. In 2011, the fiscal disparities metro-wide pool will get 32 cents. 27 cents of your commercial industrial property tax goes to the state general property tax, 14 cents to the county, 12 cents to the city of Bloomington, 11 cents to the school district, and 4 cents to other agencies. As part of the 2011 budget process, the City Council again went through and prioritized all of the city's property tax supported services. These fall into 3 general tiers: public safety and infrastructure, community safety, planning, prevention and maintenance, and quality of life. The services that are included in the first tier of public safety and infrastructure include police patrol, street maintenance, police investigations, capital debt service, fire suppression, traffic control, pavement management, fire prevention, community development, and crime prevention. The cost of all of these services for the median value home for 2011 in Bloomington is $47.37 a month. And I should note, by coming together as a community, we are able to plow your streets for about 1/10 of the cost of what it would require you to get together with your neighbors and hire somebody else to do it. And by the fact that we have great fire control protection, the cost to you of fire protection in this community is 1/5 to 1/10 of the cost of what it would be if your home sat out in a rural area and you had to insure against that cost, where you would have very little fire protection. With community safety planning, prevention, and maintenance, the services include park maintenance, engineering, environmental health, community planning, emergency preparedness, bomb squad, fire prevention, and other public safety services for a total of $10.19 per month. And in the quality of life category, these are often the ones that bring us together as a community and provide the keys to building community and its renewal, such as what occurred when City Hall came together with the Arts Center to form the Civic Plaza you are enjoying today. These services include general recreation, human services, public health services, aquatic facilities, cultural and special events, Center for the Arts, and animal and deer control, all for a total of $10.36 a month.
Together, these total to the city's objectives for the 2011 budget of maintaining the monthly property tax cost for the median value home at the same level as 2010 at $67.82 a month. This was done by setting the levy at a slight decrease at $44.5 million and setting the 2011 general fund budget with a 0.5% decrease at $54 million, slightly over $54 million. In both the short and longer term, we need to continue to provide these cost-competitive, top-quality services to continue to attract and retain residents and businesses. Let's look at how we compare with other communities. For single-family homeowners, when property tax and aids and fiscal disparities are factored in, we are the lowest on a per-monthly basis for a median family home of any community in Hennepin County over $20,000. And if you look at median value home properties, over time against the largest suburban communities in Hennepin County, we are still among the lowest, which is notable because the ones we're closely competitive with are newer communities who have not started and who are just now investing in the type of infrastructure renewal that Bloomington's been doing for the last 20 years. And really, this is prior to even adjusting for aids and fiscal disparities. In reality, however, the median value home property tax comparisons bring into the equation the question of value. In fact, city services to homes are independent of property value. Police and fire provide the same response to a 1,000-square-foot Rambler as they do to the 2-story, 5,000-square-foot walkout. Public Works provides the same level of snow plowing depending on the size of the frontage, not the size of the home. And Park and Rec services are a function of the number of people that use them, not the number of people that live in any particular home, or let alone the value of that home. As such, the best comparison may be the property tax service costs paid on average by each single-family home in comparable communities. And again, Bloomington ranks amongst the lowest in the newer communities prior to any adjustments and way below our comparables in older communities. As you adjust for property tax and aids, Bloomington again becomes the lowest. No matter how you slice it, Bloomington compares most favorably, not only in terms of lowest cost of services, but I also may suggest among the highest quality in services. We're not operating for the short term, but for the long term, keeping in mind our vision for an even better Bloomington. Our services, which we continue to connect and appropriately enhance with evolving technologies and best practices, compete not only well with our city peers, but even in selected areas with the private market, as was noted in the December edition of the briefing. As a community, we can provide quality services without which you would have to individually do, and at a much greater cost. Successful communities never let themselves stagnate, but continue to build and renew and look for new opportunities along the way. Among our strategic objectives is to actively enhance our city's sense of community, which is what makes Bloomington such a great city. Honoring our past, focusing on the present, and looking toward an ever brighter future, we continue to improve and enhance the connections so vital to our community. And here are the people responsible for today's presentation, as well as many of the efforts to continue to serve you in the wide variety of ways that we can. And if I could ask the people who are listed here to stand, I would appreciate it very much, so you can receive the applause. Thank you.
Mary Bennett.
And now it's almost the favorite time of every presentation for you. It's question time. So, Mayor?
Well, if there are any questions, anything that you'd like to bring up or something we haven't touched on?
And we have a microphone in the back so that we will be able to hear your dulcet tones as you speak.
Sure.
What do you see for the demographic trends for Bloomington Public Schools and pros and cons of that?
Superintendent Fujitaki?
Well, I think the demographic trends are obviously there's been a declining enrollment over the last decade, but it appears to have stabilized at a level now, and we're looking for it to grow. As we said, our housing stock and things, we've aged in place as a community, and we're starting to see a little more turnover in the housing. So we think that it'll be occupied by families going forward and putting kids back into the school system. But I don't think we're ever going to, it'll never grow to the levels it was in the 70s where it was, all kids and outnumbered the adults in the community. It's kind of a scary thing, but a healthy thing too. But I think we've reached a plateau, and I think we're going to see some growth from here. And it's a diverse population, whether it be new Americans or minorities. We're seeing just a greater diversity throughout the community and in the schools.
You've talked about the growth areas, but what kind of planning do you have underway for the central part of Bloomington, particularly in the 98th and Lindale area, the original downtown, and still the original downtown?
Well, Mayor, you were part of that effort started back in the 80s, and obviously that Highway 65 that used to be there moved over to 35W, and obviously the amount of traffic that goes by there on a daily basis doesn't support it. But over time, we only have to look in the mirror to see how our retailing choices have changed. And while we all enjoy the neighborhood business and love small business, we vote with our feet in our pocketbooks and go elsewhere. So it makes it a struggle. Particularly in the areas, 98th and Lindale obviously is a stronger area than some of the other smaller commercial areas we have. But it has to be done on a basis that looks to invest in the long-term future, and it is a struggle. There's been investment made in 98th and Lindale over the years, and it's something that will continue need to be done. We enjoy having RBCU come in as the latest addition there. Mayor?
And I think you're correct, Mr. Granger. It's been 30 years since really there's been anything major, and it's ongoing. And it started about 30 years ago. But I think Mr. Bernhardson touched upon it. I think we're seeing the RBCU building over there is a fabulous new building, and we hope that it starts to trigger and stimulate a little bit of development in the area. The whole Lindale Avenue corridor, it's just really not 98th and Lindale, needs to be addressed, and it was always envisioned to be a long-term turning and planning thing. And under this current economy, development has really been stagnated and slowed down, and so we don't necessarily see much more on the horizon now, but we sure like to see it happen. I see the members are here from Krause-Anderson, and we've had very preliminary, at least thought process discussion on, they have properties along Lindale Avenue and specifically on 98th and Lindale in the Clover Center, and I think that when the time is right, they will probably look and act upon that. But the community right now, the development community, it's just not a good time. And so, we're going to be patient.
Others? Well, as the hour of 1:30 is close at hand and the snow continues to fall, I'm sure you want to get on the road and enjoy the quality services of Bloomington's snowplow fleet. So thank you very much for coming. We enjoyed having you, and wish you all a great 2011.